top of it. Coming at you with another video once, man. I got a little time, so I wanted to speak a message. Who have you been a blessing to, though? Yeah, who have you been a blessing to, though? I hear a lot of talk. I've even talked about it, the world's a rough place, man. People are just changing. People are terrible, man. People are, society is just bad. It's just a bad place. Okay, but who have you been a blessing to, though? Have you started to make the change? Are you going to lead the charge on making the change? Come on now. Who have you been a blessing to, though? Who have you assisted selflessly? Who have you tried to encourage and inspire and motivate to go the right way, to stop spitting out hateful rhetoric, to stop trying to demoralize people, to stop trying to destroy people? Who have you been a blessing to? Being a blessing to somebody doesn't mean just giving them something of monetary value, or giving somebody some food or clothes. That's beautiful things, especially if you're doing it selflessly, just trying to help people out. But I'm talking about doing something that's going to allow them to become better people, to benefit them health-wise, to benefit them psychologically. It's genuinely benefit and just out of the kindness of your heart, just because you want to see somebody improve. Who have you been a blessing to, though? Right? Because it's real easy to do things for people and expect recognition, especially in the job culture that we got, where it's kind of competitive. So we always want to go up, and put, if it means putting somebody else down in the process, well, it just had to be that way. That's just how the culture is. I got to step on you, Many times have I seen that in the workplace, where people will, they'll be friends with you, they'll be cool with you, they'll do all this stuff. And then when the opportunity arises for them to, move up the ladder a little bit, don't even have to be a big amount. Maybe a few more hours to their schedule, maybe a slightly higher position. Slightly higher, not too much higher. It doesn't even make a pay change. It's just a little more responsibility. They'll throw people under the bus quick. They'll snatch that opportunity from them quick. Again, competition. Right? Competition. I've seen people who are completely capable of really being in way better positions. They just have to move outside of the job that they're currently in, the current workplace. But they don't want to. No, they want to crush people in this area because they're comfortable here. Right? Who have you been a blessing to, though? Who have you been a blessing to? Can you give something away knowing that I'll be fine regardless? I'll be good. I'll be good regardless, right? Okay, I got the position I'm in now. It's not like I'm really hurting for money that bad, or it's not like it's not like giving away this bit of time of mine is going to be a problem. It's not going to inconvenience me so much that I'm about to be sitting there in my room in the dark, crying, talking about, oh man, what have I done? What have I done? Like, you'll be all right. You know what I mean? You in your room in the dark blasting, you got a friend in me. You know what I mean? Trying to hype yourself up, thinking that you did a good thing. You did a good thing. Leave it alone. Who have you been a blessing to, though? Who have you been kind to? Just for kindness' sake. Just out of the kindness of your heart. Now, to some people, this is a foreign concept. This is crazy. Like, why would I do that? Why would I give up my position? Why would I do certain things? I'm not saying be a detriment to yourself. I'm not saying destroy yourself in the process of helping people. But I'm saying, okay, if it causes a slight inconvenience, but doesn't like put you back extremely drastically or destroy you or nothing like that. And sometimes you got to make sacrifices. Sometimes you will be put back a little further than you'd like to be, all at the expense of helping out somebody. Again, you're being a blessing to somebody else. You're trying to show people something. Even in doing that, in that selflessness, it doesn't mean weakness. I'm going to get to that in a second. Selflessness does not mean weakness. But being kind to somebody means that you're setting an example for them. That there's somebody out there that can be this way, and it doesn't require any excessive thing. They're going to ask you, oh, well, what, I can't pay you back. I never asked you to do that. That's not what I'm asking you to do. I'm not asking you to pay me back. I'm not asking you to do nothing for me. What I'm asking for is that you pay it forward. You be a blessing to somebody else. And it can come back to me if you want it to, but you be a blessing to somebody else. It's not a sign of weakness. Kindness is not a sign of weakness. You have to pick and choose who you're going to be kind to as well. You don't just be a blessing to, everybody. Don't, the blessing, the level of the blessing that you're giving out, right, has to make sense. So get what I'm saying here. If you want to give, $50 to the person less fortunate on the side of the road, that's on you. That's up to you. Right? But again, what is it to you? Why are you giving them that? Right? If you're going to be a blessing to somebody, make it make sense. Are you giving that to them out of the kindness of your heart? Are you giving that to them because you think it's going to get you some good karma or something like that? Are you giving that to them because you've seen them out there day in and day out in the snow and all that stuff, and they always out there? Always. So you're like, okay, this one time I'm gonna pay them $50. I'm gonna pay them $50 so they can get themselves a new coat or something like that, because they always out there. Again, it makes sense. But to, give a random stranger $50, I mean, if that's out the kindness of your heart and you don't really care, because $50 ain't gonna break you, cool. You're being a blessing to somebody. And understand where I'm going with this. Listen to what I'm saying. Being a blessing to somebody means being a blessing ultimately to yourself. Because you have faith in yourself. Right? I know I'm using a lot of religious-based words here. Blessing and faith, right? But understand where I'm going with this. It's because you have faith in yourself. You understand that this is a testament of my character. This is what I want people to aspire to be. This is what I want the youth to look up to. I want people to have hope that they can meet somebody like me out there. There's a lot of sadness. There's a lot of anger out there today. A lot of that. I've noticed these things, right? A lot of sadness and anger. And so the most important thing that you can do is be a blessing, to be that example. Because it's not necessarily saying that you want something from that. You want something monetary. No, you just want people to have belief in something better. You want people to have hope. You want people to have something to aspire to. Because you never know that you could be helping somebody out just out of the kindness of your heart, right? Because like I said, you can't help out random people, but out the kindness of your heart, you can help people out, and that can inspire them, and that can motivate them. Be like, man, that person months ago, that person years ago, man, they helped me out of that jam, and that really inspired me to be a better person myself. Because I never realized they were gonna walk by. They didn't even look like the type of person to give me that kind of blessing. They didn't even look like it. Right? It's got to be that cold. You ain't even seem like the type of person to stop. You ain't even seem like the type of person to give that. And you know, this is me talking about random individuals. Let's talk about the individuals that are close to you, the individuals that are important to you. Again, it's got to make sense. And for the individuals that you care for and that are important to you, it's typically always going to make sense. Now, there's going to be cases where you care for them and they're going to try to take advantage of you. And that's where it's got to make sense, right? Rational kindness. It's got to be rational. It's got to make sense. So I can care for you. I can love you and all that. But if I see that you're taking advantage of it, again, right? I have to pull back. I have to be rational about this. It has to make sense. There's a fine line. There's a fine line between niceness and kindness. There's a fine line, and when you start being nice to people, it's because you want something from that. Right? You want their love, or you want their affection, or you want them to stay calm, or you want them to be, you want something from that. This is what a lot of people get messed up and misconstrued. Kindness is for the self. Kindness is out of your own heart. Kindness is a testament of your character. Niceness, however, is a selfish endeavor. That's the selfish road to go down. Because ultimately all you want is to be comfortable. All you want is to avoid some kind of conflict. That's why you're being nice. You go to the office and you dislike a lot of the people in there, right? You work in a job and you go to the office and you dislike a lot of people. Somebody comes up to talk to you. You know, let's go with this typical example, right? And I don't even know if this is really real. This never happened to me, but you know, you go to the water cooler to get some water, and somebody comes up and you're not really fond of them, or you don't really want to talk right now. You were just trying to get some water, and they're coming to talk to you. You know, this person is a conversationalist, so they'll sit there and talk to you for about 30 minutes. You know? And you're nice about it, and you put on a nice face, and you act as though you're interested in the conversation. But you're only doing that to avoid conflict, and so you don't make them upset or sad or something like that. And now those are, again, not again, but let me be clear, rather. Those are positive things, right? You don't want to hurt their feelings or anything like that. But this is at the expense of your peace, right? Because if you keep letting him do that, or keep letting her do that, they're just going to constantly come up to you. I mean, I've seen this, right? Where people will wait for somebody to go to a specific area to go meet with them. Back when I used to smoke a little bit, I used to go out to the smoking pit, right? Because I just wanted a break from what I was doing, so I go to the smoking pit, and there would be somebody, not all the time, but a lot of the time, they'd come right to the back and be like, oh, what's going on? And start talking to me. I'm like, I wasn't even trying to talk right now. I was just trying to, but in this case, no, I didn't necessarily want to talk, but they were my friend, and I did like having conversations with them. Some days I was just tired, but other days, it was cool. So usually they put me in a pretty good mood. So again, it was for me, but it was also for them. So it wasn't really niceness. It was more just me, just friends chopping it up together and just having a good time. But there'll be times where people come around and I don't want to talk to them. And then I start going to that niceness. I just want to avoid conflict. I don't want to make them upset or nothing. I don't want to cause any beef. So I'm just being nice about it. But at the expense of my peace here, I got to sit here and listen to them talk about things that I don't want to hear them talk about. You get what I'm saying? Long and drawn out example. But what I'm saying here is niceness and kindness have a fine line. One is selfish. One can teeter on cowardice, right? You can be a coward because you're trying to be nice. And you constantly want to avoid conflict. And one is about yourself. One is about your appreciation of peace within yourself. One is about your character. One is about your values. You see how they differ? Kindness is about character, values. And character and values, and it's more about the self, right? It's more about who you are as a person. Well, niceness isn't about who you are as a person. It's focusing on the other person outside of you and making sure that they don't hurt your feelings. Right? And so we have to remember. We have to remember exactly what we desire to do when we're setting out to try to be a blessing to somebody. Being a blessing to somebody is always about kindness first. Right? I think that one thing that is really good, especially about me, is that when I do things for people, I don't really remember it. And I know that sounds kind of conceited to say, or that sounds kind of backwards, like, well, you're telling us about the things you didn't do. Here's what I'm saying. People will tell me that I did something for them, and I don't even remember it. It was just another day. Hey, y'all know that saying from Bison in the Street Fighter movie? I've never seen this movie, but I've seen this clip. It's one of my favorite quotes. He said, for you, the day Bison graced your village was the most important day of your life. But for me, it was Tuesday. Now, the context of that is really bad. He raided a village and, he was a terrible person. But as far as the quote itself, for you, it could have been the most important day of your life, right? But for me, it was just Tuesday. It was just another day in the neighborhood. I wasn't trying to get nothing out of that. I wasn't. My whole goal was that you grow from that situation, was that you see that there is somebody else in the world that can be kind, that there is not just heartlessness and hate and despair in the world. To give you some hope that there's other people out there, that there's communities, there's individuals out there that want to help people out just because they want to help people out. Individuals that want to genuinely benefit people so that they can benefit themselves in the long run. So that we can cause a cycle of helping and benefiting others. I have to make a very clear, I want to make this message very clear, rather. I didn't want to make this video go too long because I have something else to do. But it can be a testament of your character. It can always be that. It can always be rational. However, be careful of allowing somebody to take advantage of your kindness. Be aware, right? Be aware of people trying to take advantage of it. Right? And the best way to monitor that, and I'll probably go further into this, but if your peace starts getting compromised, And it may take a little bit to notice. Unfortunately, especially those with really kind hearts, they'll give and give and give, and they'll burn themselves out, and they won't realize that they need a break until after the fact. After their mind is all broken, their body breaking down. You know what I mean? They looking like Buzz Lightyear when he fell out the stairs. You know what I mean? They're done. They done use themselves up. Very important that you make sure to monitor your peace. I try to make a video about that, about monitoring your peace, but it's very important. Keep yourself together. Understand when other people are trying to compromise your peace, when they're trying to make you expend all that you can on them. Notice when you're being kind and when you're being nice. When do you cross that fine line? Pay attention to yourself. This is how you truly be a blessing to people, though. Right? Ask yourself the question, who have you been a blessing to, though? Who have you been a blessing to, though? I'm done. Y'all continue to be a benefit to yourselves and others, and I hope to speak to you again soon.